I knew this man one time. He was an older gentleman at the church I was youth pastor at, in between the churches I was pastoring. We all thought he was saved because he was at church every service. Some of them knew him longer than I did, and he was always at their church every service. And he stood up one night and said, "I bet each and every one of you thought I was saved, but I wasn't. I felt the draw of God once when I was a child. I didn't go up because I felt like I was just too young. Later on, I went back on the Lord, and I lived things my own way and done things my own way and just enjoyed life. I went to church, and I thought, well, people would just look at me and when I felt the draw of God and think I wasn't worthy. But I still continued going to church all them years, and I felt the draw of God one more time. And then he said, I thought people might look down on me because they've seen me on church all these years. So I never went up. But now I'm like 70 or 80 years old, and I don't know how much longer I have. And I want to feel that draw of God again. I've not felt them in years. And I don't want to make that first step without truly feeling that draw of God, because I want to be in Him, not me. For the next 2 weeks, all the preachers at the church, all they preached on was salvation. They never got them to the altar. I even preached several times on salvation. It never got them to the altar. But one night I wasn't scheduled to preach, and God put this burning message in my heart. And I said, I know somebody else is scheduled tonight, but I just feel like I got to do something. As I made my way up to that altar, you could look at the crowd. They was all really interested and really intrigued. It was like at the edge of their seat, trying to see what this burning message that I had. The only time in my life I've ever done this, I was preaching a whole message in tongues, but I thought it was my own language. One of the other preachers was telling somebody else every word for word what I was saying. She looked at me at the end of the service. She said, I bet you wondered why I was talking the whole time you was doing it. Your whole message was in tongues, and I was telling somebody else what you was preaching. That night, that man come up to the altar. He got saved. That night, 2 young people come up and got saved that night. That night, 2 was filled with the Holy Ghost. About 6 people was healed. All in one message. And it wasn't even a week later that man died. We have no promise of tomorrow. God drawed him 3 times. And 3 times he denied him. God didn't have to draw him again. You hear people backsliding time and time again, and God continues to draw them. God doesn't have to draw them. God can turn us over to a reprobate mind, but sometimes He chooses not to. There is hope in each and every one of us today. We have a destiny, and that's to serve God. We have a purpose, and that's to serve God. If you don't know the Lord today, don't wait until it's too late. We have no promise of tomorrow.